bit of a different podcast this week. I'm flat out with work, which is good. It's definitely not a complaint. We're just struggling to get a guest confirmed or lined up because people's diaries change. So we're just sort of doing something a bit different. Me at the stock ponds, I should say, feeding the fish and grabbing some buckets of feed. And hopefully getting a few sunset shots. I've got my camera with me over my shoulder with a couple of lenses, but typically the sun's just gone in. There's loads of birds clearing off the lake, a lot of ducks. There's also one species of bird that's turned up here that I can't suss out what it is. I'm going to have to do a bit of research. It's like a black, like a white on its wing, on the underside of its wing. I think I mentioned it on the podcast with Dave Gawthorne. I'm still trying to suss out what they are. I don't know if it's a hobby, not me guessing birds. I mean, the hobby is in the name of the bird breed. Anyway, try and get this feed in, give them a few floaters before the swans turn up. It's a regular thing, so they've spotted me already and they're starting to come over. Fish will probably be in their usual place, but the water levels are well down on this lake. Doesn't seem to be having too much of an adverse effect on the fish. The fish are in the usual spot. They'll all bow wave off in a minute, no doubt, like they do. When they realise I'm here, then come back for a bit of grub. Yeah, so just a bit of a different podcast. These are the noises. In goes a bit of pellet. Whoosh! Sound effect optional. Yeah, the fish is shooting off out the shallows now. It's you can walk across a lot of this part of the pond at the minute where it's so shallow. I think we're due for a good bit of rain next week. I'm recording on my little portable mic again, so I don't know what the sound quality will be like of this. Hopefully it'll be okay. We'll see how we get on. The wind's just picking up a little bit as well, and it's the last day of August, and it's got that little bit of a feel to it. I drove down from up north yesterday morning, and it was single figures on the van early in the morning, so it's definitely on its way. I know most say that I'll turn that gain down a bit because of the noise of those pellets. Yeah, I know most say that the autumn isn't as good as it was, but you've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? So it's a bucket of pellet going out. Hopefully you can hear that. The swans are just on their way over. See if there's anything for them. Yeah, got a fair few guests lined up. It's just getting the time to get diaries to align. For those that know, I got a heating business, which is really busy at the minute, doing air source heat pumps. It's a new thing for us, so it's getting all the paperwork done for that. A buzzard's just flying overhead. I don't know if you can pick that up on the mic, having a squawk about. Maybe I'll get the camera out and see if I can get a few shots of him. It's obviously seen something. It's circling around, so I might stick the longer lens on, see if I can get a shot. Just banging in Ben's pellet at the minute. These are his fish. Technically I'm feeding. They're BP Gold with a bit of Natropal on, so it smells delightful. And if you haven't tried it, get some. I'm going to put the mic down a sec. Yeah, definitely get some. The Natropal, brilliant bit of kit. I've had loads of fish on it, like glugging my feed in it. Fish love the garlic, and obviously you've got the parasite repellent properties of it too. So, free plug for Ben Pinnaker's gear. Shout out BP Milling. That's one pond done. Swans are just coming in now. The fish are starting to come back in. They haven't strayed too far. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a shot of that buzzard. He's disappeared a bit. Nights are drawing in, definitely. Same thing happens every year. My dad always used to make a bit of a comment about it, like it was a new phenomenon. Yeah, there was a comment like how it'd be the days were drawing out in the spring and then they'd draw in the autumn. So yeah, same thing happened last year and a fair few before that. So I've got a good amount of guests lined up. Lots of people sort of further down the line. I think a lot of people are on their holidays at the minute. Obviously, with it being sort of the end of the school holidays, so I imagine people come back from that. So it's hard to sort of pin people down to a date at the minute. Just got to go and grab another bucket of feed. A bit of a walk to the other pond. So you have to excuse my heavy breathing. It's not an old 0898 number. You have to pay to listen to this. You get it all free. Although you can support the podcast on Patreon if you want. Links on the Instagram bio. That all helps for the running costs. Shameless little bit of begging there. But yeah, anything people can help with that, that's always appreciated. I'm determined to do one a week. So even if it's just me waffling on while I'm feeding the fish, so be it. Right, Christ, this bucket's heavy. It's a full, don't know what size litre bucket it is. It's a full, probably, I don't know what's in there, 10 kilos, 12 kilos at a guess. A bit of a free workout. Yeah, so we seem to be getting more and more swans on there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 on the slate. There definitely wasn't 10 a few weeks ago. Annoyingly, they're just about, where it's so shallow, they can probably reach most of that feed. So I'll go around and shoo them off in a minute. So if you can just picture seeing, I've got 2 big buckets of bait in one hand and this little portable microphone in another. I was tempted to record it on the AirPods, but I just don't know how good a quality that would have done it. So we'll opt for this little thing and see how this records straight into a little SD card, so we'll see how that goes. But it's not very practical. So I'm down to one hand. I'm trying to fling a load of bait in and get these fish fed. I'm hoping everyone's fisheries have been okay with this weather and like the oxygen crashes that I've seen reported. I've seen a few links shared about saving fisheries. So I'm hoping everyone's following Andy Ellis's suggestions about sorting your fishery out. I know it's a bit too late now, but if you are sort of concerned about anything to do with your water, the water quality and oxygen levels, definitely get Andy Ellis out this winter. If he's got any space left, I know he books up a lot. We'll get him out and get everything sorted, get the trees removed, get what you need to do to get some chop on the water, get some wind on the water. Excuse me, grunting as well, hoofing out some bait. There's just a load more fish around this side. They've come out a bit where I think where the water level's so low. So I'll give them a bit of feed there. Yeah, get Andy Ellis out at AE Fisheries on Instagram, Facebook. Get those guys out to give you a survey, and they can show you what to do to sort of best hedge against any oxygen crashes, because if we're to believe the media and scientists and everyone else, you know, this is going to be sort of here to stay. I think these longer summers and milder winters possibly. Don't know if you heard that on the fish bolting. These fish are packing on size. I don't know if you've seen Ben's done a couple of posts on his BP Milling on Instagram, Facebook with the fish. I think they went in March. They've been growing rapidly. We've been feeding them as often as we can, pretty much daily. Like I say, we're now at the last day of August, and we think there's going to be a few doubles, which is pretty good going. Shallow water, yeah, lots of good food, consistent feeding, obviously good conditions. We've had a real warm summer, haven't we? Which makes a change. So it's the perfect storm, I suppose, for fish growth. You know, I'm no expert. That's Ben and Andy's marina. Yeah, looks like we're going to have some decent fish in this little stock pond, which is nice to see. And it's I think this is me doing this is giving me my little fix, because I just haven't really got the time to get the rods out myself at the minute, you know, which isn't a sob story. I could get them out, but I wouldn't enjoy it because I've got so much on and a busy head with work stuff, which I'd rather have. Just saying, rather than being quiet, I'd rather it be this way around. So yeah, I'll get the rods out at some point when I want, really, I suppose. Yeah, just to sort of set the scene, we're just approaching the other water now. See if we can find where the fish are. The colour of the water usually gives it away on this one. It'll be a little bit harder to see because it's a bit deeper. We'll find where they are, then give them a bit of a feed. And then that'll be my job's done for the day, I think. Unless I get any call outs. Not sure what the time is. I think it's just gone 7 in the evening. It's a lovely time to be out. I was actually trying to get some shots of some fox cubs earlier in the year. Just walking past where they were, but one of them rumbled me. Had all the camera gear set up, and this one popped up on a mound where I wasn't expecting it to show up, and just started screaming at the top of his voice because it spotted me. Obviously alerting all his brothers and sisters and mum, and they cleared off. So I was hung around for 20 minutes and I just got rumbled by a little fox cub. So it just goes to show, and you see all these people in these fancy camouflage hides with all the kit on, hiding out the way. It obviously does work, because I must have stuck out like a sore thumb. Typically poked my head around the corner to see if anything was there, and he spotted me. Bold as you like, on the top of this mound, which would have obviously been a really good shot. He's probably a bit far away. He'd been silhouetted against the background, so it would have been quite nice. Right, I'm at the second pond now. So there's some signs of fizzing in the corner, like what I normally do on this one. You stick a couple of scoops of pellet in this first corner, because there tends to be a few fish that hang down here, and then just assess whether I need to go around to the other side to feed them. I've just seen a load of fizzing as I've said that. Yeah, there's a lot of fish down here already, which is good. So I can do that, feed them all this side. But we've got some really special fish coming along, thanks to Ben's initial hard work bringing these on, and it's just really satisfying to see how they've put on the size. So, and thanks, by the way, for all the nice feedback for the episodes. I'm really glad I've sort of kicked this off again and getting into the swing of it. And it's really nice when you see all the decent reviews and nice words that you guys leave. If there's anyone in particular you'd want to see on as a guest, do let me know. Sorry, I'm just pausing. There's absolutely loads of fizzing coming off it, right in close. I'd imagine it's probably where that mopping up last night's feed. That's where they were yesterday. Actually, loads of bubbles on the surface here, and fizzing going on as we're speaking. I'll get this feed in. Lovely, gooey, garlicky nutri-pow. It smells good enough to eat. Yeah, I'll get this feed in. Got like another few scoops worth. And then I think I'm going to get the camera out, so I might leave the podcast recording and see if I can pick up any decent shots. There's plenty to go out here. We get there's always a resident heron that tends to disappear quite soon to me pulling up. and there's quite often a white egret as well, but just one. I've never seen one. The Metropods leaving a lovely slick on the water as well. Hopefully that isn't too loud. I'll hold the mic. Right, nearly done. Try and do it one-handed. Just put it on the floor a sec. I'll do the last bit. Yeah, I listened to a photography podcast. As you all know, I'm well into my photography, so I just thought, you know what, sod it. I'll just record me wandering around. Because one I listen to is just like a photography walk where I just go and take different shots of stuff. And I'm sad enough to listen to that, so I thought, let's go for it. I'll record an episode doing the same. Right, that's both lakes done. So the fish will be on that in no time. Yeah. Surface is alive with fizzing oils. One thing I've noticed, just obviously observing these fish and watching them grow, is just how varied the behaviour is between one fish to another. Because we find some, we're launching in those sort of big 12mm pellet, it scares them and they'll go charging off, which is what you expect, but others come charging towards it. So it just goes to show like the difference in behaviour in, I suppose, the same as humans, isn't it, in the same species, how it can vary and what it is that actually causes that sort of varied behaviour from one to another. Like I say, it's quite fascinating to watch when you get to watch them sort of up close, because these ponds are fairly sort of shallow. It's really interesting to watch how they just change from one to another. Yes, I suppose that's why you end up with like mugfish and fish that are hard to catch, because they feed completely differently. Yeah, so I've come out to try and get some nice sunset shots, but I don't think I'm going to get them because the sun's right behind the cloud. Although there is some stunning, almost heavenly rays poking out through the gaps. Might be able to get it, give it a go. Yeah, a few people have asked about me doing sort of recording it on the camera and doing like a video as well as the audio, but at the minute I'm just so pushed for getting these out, the audio version alone. I just wouldn't have the time to do the video and obviously upload it and everything else and edit it. So it starts at 5 o'clock in the morning start for me. Get to the gym. And that's work, pretty much. I'm sort of breaks at work, doing paperwork, booking stuff in to do after, because I'm working on site in a minute. Doing quite a large job, so breaks are taken up with doing all the paperwork on my iPad, keeping on top of it, and then doing any call-outs, breakdowns, quoting, etc. when I finish, and then coming to the lake, feeding the fish, grabbing any bits of shopping that my mum will need, because she can't drive and she's quite sort of immobile. Is that the right word? Somebody that isn't mobile. Yeah, so doing that, so by the time when that's done, it's pretty much time to go home and shower, do a bit of paperwork and then get into bed. So I think even if I wanted to go fishing, I'd be too knackered to go anyway. And if I was doing an overnight somewhere and had one or two in the night, I'd be absolutely hanging the next day. These fish on the shallower pond, definitely a little bit more spread out. Some of them are grabbing. If I stuck in a few floaters as well, just to see if they've have them, as well as the sinking pellet of bends, and they're having them down here now. So that's good. See if I can get some shots of how low this water level is, because it seems to be lower on one pond than the other. I'm not sure what the reason for that is. I haven't quite sussed it out. But that's pretty much a day in the life of this podcast at the minute. like I say, I'm definitely not complaining. I completely get that we all get the same 24 hours in a day and we choose to spend them how we want. I don't envy full-time anglers. I think fair play to them. It's not something I'd want to do, but fair play for doing it and being that passionate about it. I think for me it's more of a just get out and chill when I want to go fishing and hopefully catch a few. I think I'm going to go around there and try and get some shots of these swans. What a surprise. Any of you that follow my my personal Instagram, which is why I say personal, it's more of a photography page, which is just my name, so it's just at Dominic Eves on Instagram. You'll know that there tends to be quite a few swan shots on there. Just quite like photographing them. They're quite easy to photo. And I've got quite obsessed with getting that shot, that side profile shot of the beak, where you can see straight through the nostril and see sort of clear out the other side. Don't know why, I think that looks quite cool. Right, I'm going to get in position. So the swans are battling with the carp now. I'm starting to see like a change in the leaves, as well as a few brown dead leaves dotted around, so it's definitely on its way. I've got to imagine, obviously, with all the sun we've had and then the rain we've got coming, I imagine the grass is going to shoot up for a few more times before it settles with the first frost, and then that'll be that. Then I'll be into silly season with work. Obviously people will be turning on their heating for the first time, so pumps will be failing, motorised valves will be sticking. Right, I've just got into position with the camera, whipped the camera out of the bag. So when we realise I haven't got charge or something like that. Down on the floor. Hope it still records right down there. Excuse the background road noise. Right. Any of you that are into camera gear know that I'm quite a tart with mine. Got the Canon, I've mentioned it before on previous podcasts, the Canon R5, it's mirrorless, quite compact, just a lovely simple bit of kit to use. I think I'm probably not using sort of half of the features that it's got, but just sit that back on the knee. Typically these swans have bloody ventured out into the lake a bit. So let's see if I can get a few shots. If I get anything postable, Instagrammable, obviously I'll share it. Oh, I'm on high frame rate, if you heard that burst there, don't need that. It's, I find it very therapeutic, photography. As mentioned before, I think it's almost my little bit of escapism, as fishing usually is, that I don't have to sort of give, days or nights to. I can just whiz out, do it, knock a shot. So there's a shot I'm going for now. I'm going to try and get the pair of swans, or even more, all lined up in the same position with their necks. Always looks good with a bit of foreground in. Love a bit of foreground. There's one trying to shoo off some others, as they do. Right, and there's a potential shot coming up. No, one of them's turned. I think the carp just showed. See if I can get a shot of that. I've realised as well, I seem to favour a portrait shot in terms of orientation as opposed to landscape. Don't know why that is. Probably because I know it'll end up on Instagram stories. Could be the reason. Oh, there's a nice shot of a carp. Yeah, so the fish are feeding alongside the swans, which is good to see. Actually wanted to get some shots of how low the water level is here, so I'm going to have a little bit of a mooch around, zip the camera bag up and wander, see if I can get those shots that I want. Yeah, as well, if you guys, if there's anything else you'd like me to include in the podcast, do sort of leave leave suggestions and feedback either on Instagram. You can message me if you've got the number, on Facebook, wherever. Just with any ideas you want or any guests you think would be good. I've had quite a few decent suggestions as well, and they're all sort of due to come on. Yeah, it's nice to just get out and record something. Hopefully this will turn out alright with me mumbling on, wandering around with the camera. But yeah, these water levels are really low at the moment. Right, I'm going to get a few more shots of these. Swans aren't up to much. It's a shame the flag iris that we've planted down there don't flower for too long. Obviously they make stunning subjects to shoot. It's nice to have the camera in the hand. Swans are being chased. I'm not sure if these are all juvenile swans, because it's rare to have so many on a lake. I thought they must be, mustn't they? The flag iris seed pods or some quite interesting subjects, I think, as well. If I can get a shot of them. There we go. Make sure everything's in focus. I always tend to shoot underexposed, just because you can get the detail back, can't you? If you're overexposed, and it's gone forever. Lovely little shot of a, not sure what that is, the fluff of a remaining seed of something. I like just taking different shots, because I mean anything can make a good photo. It doesn't have to be something staged. And one thing I've realised, I've done a fair bit of paid photography work, which I love doing, but I just don't like stage shots, pose shots. I don't think I could ever be a portrait photographer. That wouldn't interest me. I like to just capture things as they unfold. So I think maybe like sports or something like that would be better for me, or vehicles, moving vehicles. Right, I'm going to get a few more shots and I think I'll stop recording. There's a cormorant flying over. Thankfully the fish in here now are all past that point, so we haven't got to worry about that. The cormorants, just trying to get a bit of bokeh. Is it bokeh or bokeh for those who are into photography? I have no idea. As I said, excuse my heavy breathing. I don't realise I'm doing it until it gets pointed out. That was a joke. Yeah, this time of year always fascinates me, how quick everything changes. If you're out and about regularly, whether you're walking a dog or baiting a lake or just out seeing everything, you often spot it. There's something flying over here. Looks like some sort of bird of prey. Yeah, this it's hovering and hunting. So what's that going to be? Some sort of sparrowhawk, maybe a bit bigger. It's probably a kestrel, isn't it? If it's hunting, hovering overhead like that. Yeah, I managed to rescue a little. It might have been a muntjac that got stuck in the fence up here a while ago. Luckily, I was in my work van. I had some wire snips on me, so just managed to. The muntjac had somehow got his little stubby antlers caught in the wire fence. And I sort of hold it still because it's bleeding, and just cut the fence, and it bounced off. So I'm assuming it was okay. I mean, when I say it bounced off, I mean it bounced off back into the woods. Right, I'm going to walk back to the van and go home and have a much needed shower. The fish are still bobbing up and down on the surface, taking the odd floater. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a shot of them because it's getting a bit darker now. I can try. Excuse me. No, they're all around the other side. Right, I think I'll do a slow walk back to the van. I'll keep the camera out. It's got the 70-200 on. That lens is on my camera probably 80% of the time, 90% of the time. Such a versatile lens. I've either got that one or the 50mm and 1.2, which is a beast of a lens, but the autofocus is a little bit slow on that one. But it renders really beautifully and gets some lovely shots with that. As mentioned, I'm keen to do like a little photography mini-series with a few people, get sort of some of the experts in the field, in the angling world, that are really handy with the camera, get them on to ask their advice. Maybe we do like a sort of rolling monthly topic. We can ask one and the next, but I'm keen to do that because it does seem to lend itself well, doesn't it? Going hand in hand with photography and fishing. So it makes sense to take full advantage of that. I'm just going to pop you on the floor again. Right, I'm going to stick the camera away, collect these bait buckets, walk to the van, get sorted, and then head home. There goes the lens cap. Back on the camera. Lens head back on. Camera off. Yeah, and then we do it all again tomorrow. So it's Wednesday now. I'll get this edited. I say edited. There's nothing to edit really. It's just me waffling. So I'll get this uploaded probably tomorrow. And then I'll be on to the weekend. Do keep tagging me as well in your catch shots. There's some real decent fish being caught across the country. But yeah, I think we need this rain that's coming. Hopefully it will just be steady and constant for a while, because we're just not used to it, are we? Being this dry. A lot of places struggling, but I suppose we're going to have flooding again where the grounds are so hard, and the water's just going to bead off and just roll downhill, isn't it? So I hope anybody that's on the bucket's going back on low-lying ground doesn't suffer too badly with what's coming in terms of weather, because that can't be nice. It's just a little stroll back to the van. Car going past. Some sort of kit car that was, Lotus 7. Lovely. Yeah, lovely little evening. Spent waffling on. Excuse the road noise. Jump the gate. Yeah. Right, and we're back. That's back in the van. I'll see you guys next week.